Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Blast versus Empty Void. This is crazy, dude. Empty Void transformed and his new form looks absolutely crazy cool. Like, I love this. I think he looks awesome. This looks so much better than all the other forms Murata has been trying, and this has got to be his final form. Now, we get to see Blast and Empty Void start to unlock more and more of their abilities as this battle goes on, and it is crazy epic. This is exactly what I wanted, and I've been waiting for, but the ending is like, oh god, this can't be happening. I won't spoil it till we get to that part of the video, but I'm pretty aghast because I did not see it coming, and I'm hoping it didn't actually happen, but we'll have to find out in the next chapter. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So our cover page here is Tatsumaki. Not in the chapter whatsoever, but you know, it's Murata. He's got to give us some curvy female action somewhere in the chapter. And if the girl's not in the chapter, she goes on the cover. Panty or no panty, we'll always wonder. So as we continue from the end of the last chapter, Void went outside of reality and used his Dimension Slash to attack Blast, Sonic, and Flashy Flash. However, Blast was able to teleport them out of danger. And as Sonic asks, is this Genjutsu? And that's important because I think what happened to Blast at the end of the chapter might be Genjutsu. Again, we'll wrap around back to that. But what Flashy Flash is saying is the Ninja Village was literally just an experimentation ground for creating monstrous beings like Empty Void. The purpose wasn't actually to become ninjas. The whole purpose was to create god avatars. So we go back over to Blast and he's like, he completely healed? No, actually. And then he gets kicked in the back by Empty Void. So Empty Void went out of reality, uses Dimension Slash, then teleported back into reality and kicked Blast in the back, sending him flying, but Blast is able to brace himself as Empty Void lands on the ground, all cool anime style, and we get to see his final form, which is God Avatar base form, essentially. He looks amazing, and a lot of people are telling me that he looks exactly or a lot like True Form Zeno from Anime War episode 13. And now that I've seen it, I can't really unsee it. I mean, I don't want to say Murata likes Anime War, but like, it's totally possible. He definitely likes fan content. I mean, his vision, his drawing of God is based on a fan-made comic. So it's very possible that he's seen Anime War, and it definitely has something to do with it. It could be a reference to Anime War. Like, Murata might actually know who I am. Maybe I'm just dreaming, but in any case, I had to stop and say something about it. What we find out is that Void, when he took Garou's power, it actually made him weaker and caused that ugly transformation. As he says, I had a feeling something was off ever since I absorbed that avatar's power. And he's speaking of Garou, which we saw in the beginning of the redraws that Garou was dying, or when Awakened Garou was losing his god power, Void was out in space sucking it into him. And also, if you take a look at this picture as Void is talking, the silhouette of Saitama looks eerily like the silhouette of God. Now, this was the point when Saitama had come back in time and he was naked at that point. It's not God, but it might be like a foreshadowing. I mean, you can tell it's not God just simply because Saitama has ears in that picture and God doesn't have ears. But there's a lot of theories going on right now. A lot of fans think that Saitama might be God from a different dimension or a different timeline or something like that. This could potentially be a foreshadowing of that. Empty Void says that Garou was a failed creation because he didn't fully take God's power, and he also had this resilience in him to achieve things in his own way. He never fully succumbed to God, and so his dark nature defied God. And when Empty Void took Garou's power into him, he took that resilience, that defiance of God into him as well, which caused his mutation and actually made him weaker. So the absorbing Garou's power made him weaker, and as a result, so now that he's free of that, he says, Blast, your power of darkness that counters God no longer works on me, and on top of that, I've also remembered my rage towards you, that God's will made me forget. And look at that shot of Empty Void. I mean, he looks crazy cool, dude. Like, that is a design. Blast takes off his sunglasses and he throws them to Flashy Flash, now smashing his hands together and creating a black hole. Now, keep in mind that his sunglasses are mid-air throughout the entirety of this next combat sequence. He's gonna teleport directly in front of Empty Void and kick, and Empty Void's gonna return with an attack. And basically these guys are going to start teleporting all over the place, but we're really going to get to see Blast. Kind of like his combat ability is sick. Now first, Empty Void uses Spiraling Windblade, but obviously that's not gonna slash Blast. He uses his black hole to get out of the way. And we get to see his physical combat here. Obviously he has the gravity knuckle and everything, but he really abuses these hyperspace gates to the point where he can essentially hit you with punches from long range. He just punches in front of him, and no matter where you are, a hyperspace gate will come behind you and that punch will hit you. Here we see his leg going through a hyperspace gate and connecting powerfully, crushing Empty Void in the chest. So right now you're cheering like crazy for Blast. He's just going ham. He is really damaging Empty Void quite a bit. And as he tells Empty Void, don't underestimate me just because you've dealt with my Dimension Cannon and Gravity Knuckle. And as he said before, he has some trump card up his sleeve, and we're obviously going to get to see that in this fight. Now, he kind of is doing like the serious table flip a bit with these hyperspace gates, and he's just bouncing Empty Void all over the place, now just appearing from above and smashing Empty Void in his spine with a flying knee. I mean, such a cool shot. As Blast says, if he escapes into a different dimension, I won't be able to track him. So what Blast's trying to do is just release such an onslaught without any moments of rest that Void can't teleport away. And that's what Blast's doing. I can't give him a chance to recompose himself. So just unleashing this crazy like hyperspace serious table flip attack where it pummels the living heck out of the person. But as Blast comes in for a final attack, Empty Void like twists his neck and arms around in the opposite direction and catches Blast off guard, slicing off his freaking arm, guys. So hold the phone, because Blast just got his arm chopped off. This can't be real, right? This can't be real. Empty Void says you can't teleport without putting your fists together, can you? And so by taking Blast's arm off, Blast cannot teleport anymore. He's gonna be screwed. And look at this, his body twists back around. He says, your desperate tactic of using boring magic trick to target my blind spot is disappointing. S-Class Hero Blast, you can't dodge the Dimension Slash anymore. Watch as the cities around the world, along with their citizens, get shredded into pieces, while you just stand there doing nothing. So Blast is there holding his arm, and he's like, you're still bad at lying, your eyes are shifty as ever. Not really sure what that means, but I think Blast might have him under some sort of genjutsu right now. So he says, if you were the same I fought with 15 years ago, you would have cut off my head instead. So there's something holding you back. And what he's saying is that, but now since you've absorbed Garou's factor, God's brainwashing is starting to wear off on you. Meaning that like potentially he's starting to become a good guy again. And so if Blast can just hang on long enough, there's a good chance that this goes complete opposite direction of the webcomic, and instead of Empty Void getting one shot off screen by Saitama, he's gonna turn into a good guy and unlock this gate of the Celestial Rock Cave where God is, and this is really, really exciting. Now the last page though, Blast drops to his knees and gets sliced up in blood. And it looks like this is real, like he lost his arm and he just got annihilated, potentially dying. Now, Fubuki is not there to heal him. I think that this is a genjutsu or a dream of some sort. I mean, bros, like, if they take out my boy Blast with this, I'm gonna be a little pissed off. Like, Blast is supposed to be there in the end with the final fight against God. He can't be losing his arm now, because then he can't teleport anymore, and it's just over for him. So the mention of the genjutsu earlier, if you guys aren't familiar, genjutsu is a Naruto term. Essentially it means for an illusion, right? Like, so maybe Blast or Empty Void or has some sort of powers to create different reality, like illusions or something, because like Blast can't be losing his hand, dog. Like, we need this man to fight. Like, no, just no. So the entirety of that whole fight happened, and then Flashy Flash like caught the sunglasses just to try and show you the speed at which these two crazy powerful characters are fighting each other. And Flashy Flash and Sonic don't stand a chance. At this point, they're just standing there like they're just getting in the way of Blast, because, you know, Empty Void can just use them as hostages. They need to dip. So I'm wondering, is Saitama gonna come and help Blast? Is this a Genjutsu and Blast trump card? You know, he did say he has something special. We'll find out in 2 weeks, man, but like, Blast can't be losing his arm, bro. Like, come on, dude. I mean, Ian lost his arm and he's still raw AF. Really like that character, you know, just so honorable. Even though he lost his arm, he still goes hard. I mean, Blast may be able to, but if he loses his teleporting ability, he's gonna be like just weak. I feel like he loses one of his core abilities that makes him Blast, and I don't want that to happen. So I think what's gonna happen, in my personal opinion, it's some sort of Genjutsu, and I don't even think Saitama will come in to fight Empty Void. Maybe he does, but I think more so Blast is gonna somehow awaken, bring back Empty Void and turn him back into a good guy, because Blast told us that God's power is starting to wear off already because he absorbed Garou's defiance, his like, you know, core resilience inside of him, just like to defy authority. And so just that being inside of him is separating him from God. So he may just fully turn into a good guy like next chapter or the chapter after that. So I don't see Saitama coming in and one punching him. This is really has to be Blast's fight. But crazy chapter. Art was just so sick. I love this. This is exactly what I wanted, you know, except for Blast getting his arm cut off. I'm not ready for this. It didn't happen. I am in denial, okay? I'm just straight in denial. It's Genjutsu. It didn't happen, but you know, we'll find out what the Genjutsu is next chapter, okay? Because Blast didn't lose his arm, okay? It's not happening. It didn't happen. Come on.